Just a reminder to vote in this week's Locals poll, where you decide what deck I take to Locals every single week. Without any further ado, I hope you enjoyed the video. What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and today we have the deck profile for the deck we took to Locals yesterday, being Hieratic. We got 5th place, which I think is pretty good for Hieratics. Just a couple of things. There's some construction going on outside, so sorry in advance if you hear that. Also, I don't have the next Locals poll put up yet because they're doing some challenges, and I'm wanting to wait and hear what the challenge is before I put the next poll out. That way I can get some extra points for additional prizing. But yeah, without any further ado, here's a look at what the deck looks like on paper, then we'll get to the card by card. Okay, so starting out first, we've got 3 copies of Hieratic Seal of the Sun Dragon Overlord. So the reason that we're running 3 is because the Hieratic specialize in special summoning it from anywhere, whether that be your hand, deck, or graveyard, so you don't really have to worry about it being dead in your hand because you can always just special summon it. And then this also helps you make your Hieratic rank 8s. Next is Hieratic Dragon of Tefnuit. And then I'm just going to go ahead and say this. All of the Hieratics, except for 2 of them, have the effects where if it's tributed, you get to, it's a mandatory effect to special summon a Dragon Normal monster from your deck. So I'm only going to mention it on Tefnuit here, but just know that all the other Hieratic Dragon monsters, except for 2 main deck monsters, have that mandatory tribute special summon effect. So this one is basically a Cyber Dragon. It's also a rank 6, so if you want to go into a tome, but it's mainly used for the rank 6, or used for the Cyber Dragon-like effect. Next is Hieratic Dragon of Su. So this one serves 2 purposes. So this one allows you to special summon it from your hand as a built-in summon by attributing a Hieratic monster, which again will trigger the mandatory special summon effects. And then you can tribute a Hieratic from your hand or field to pop 1 spell or trap on the field. So spell and trap removal is kind of nice, but then again, using it to extend and go into your rank 8s, that's kind of the main objective of the deck. Next, we are running 1 Hieratic Seal of the Dragon King. So this is actually a Gemini monster. And so the reason we run 1 of this is because since it's treated as a normal monster in the graveyard, if you tribute 1 of your other Hieratics, you can actually special summon this from your graveyard to make 1 of your rank 6s. So it just makes a tome a little bit easier to summon. Next, we're running 2 Hieratic Dragon of Nebthet. So this is a level 5. So, and I'm pointing that out because you can't use it as material for a tome. But very similarly to Su, you can special summon it by attributing a Hieratic monster. And then, rather than popping a spell or trap, it pops a monster. So, nice little monster removal there. Next is 3 copies of Hieratic Dragon of Eset. So, Eset is one of the best ones because you can normal summon it without tributing at the cost of its attack going down to 1,000. Or you can tribute it to get 1 of your effects, or tribute summon it to get 1 of your effects, rather. And you can actually target your normal monster. So in this case, it'd be this guy. And it becomes that level. So it's literally, it just helps you go into your rank 8s. Very nice there. Next is Hieratic Dragon of Gibeb. I'm running 3 of those. This is one of the only normal summonable monsters in the deck. So this one being an 1800 is just a solid normal summon. If you destroy a monster by battle with it, you get the special summon effect from your hand, deck, or grave, so you'll get this guy out for free. And I actually did do that in one of the games. I actually just had to normal summon this, attack, and then special, and then went into seals, so that was kind of funny. Next is Hieratic Dragon of Nuit. So this is one of the two that don't have the mandatory special summon effect when tributed. The other one is this one, because it's a Gemini. This one, if it becomes the target of a spell or trap effect, then you can special summon a dragon normal from your deck. But this is mainly just for a special summon, or rather a normal summon, so then we can go into something like Sue or Nebthet. That's basically all that's for. Or we can use it as material for Hieratic Seal. So that's it from the monster. Pretty simple lineup. Now we're going to go to the spells. So first, we're going to have a triple Hieratic Seal of Convocation. This is a non-once per turn Hieratic Searcher. Enough said. Next, we have 2 copies of Hieratic Seal of Supremacy. So this is a free special summon. This can help you make either a rank 8 or a rank 6, or if you're in really bad shape, or if you're forced to go first, you can just go into Seals. Next, running 2 copies of Hieratic Seal of Creation. So this functions similarly to a rank up magic, but it's also different. So basically, you target a Dragon Xyz monster you control, and you special summon a Hieratic Xyz monster with a different name, using that as material, so it's kind of like a rank up. And then when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to special summon a Hieratic from your grave. So that's really nice. Only bad side is you can only use 1 effect per turn, and only once that turn, so it is a little bit more restrictive, but it's still not terrible. Alright, next we are running some generic 1-of spells, including Dragon Shrine, Foolish Burial Goods, Monster Gate, Monster Reborn, and Reasoning. So, basically, the rationale behind this is different levels, so we can get a, hopefully a free special summon. Or if we happen to excavate this, it gets sent to the grave, so we can use that effect immediately. Extra material. Enough said. Monster Gate is literally a free link 2, basically. So you can tribute any of your Hieratic monsters, get whatever Hieratic monster you excavate from the deck, and then the mandatory effect will trigger in a new chain to special summon. So this is literally a free Seals. I unfortunately never drew this card last night, though, which is unfortunate. Foolish Burial Goods, we're running 1 to dump the Hieratic Seal of Creation. And then 1 Dragon Shrine, because it's a double Foolish Burial. So you can use this to dump one of your level 8 normal monsters, along with the Gemini monster. Just for extra graveyard setup there. Next, moving on to some other spell cards. I'm running 2 copies of Trial and Tribulation and 2 Super Rejuvenation. So these cards function similarly, but they also kind of serve a different purpose. So Trial and Tribulation, it has an effect where during the end phase, you get a different effect depending on the number that you tributed that turn. And it can be from the hand or field. So if you just tribute 1, you draw a card. The main reason I run it is for the 2 effect, where you can add 2 monsters from your graveyard to your hand. Because that way, if you tribute, say a Tefnuit and a Sue that turn, to make one of your rank 8s, you can actually get those 2 monsters back from your graveyard. And then if you happen to get 3 or more, then you can pop 3 face-up cards on the field. Or rather, you have to pop 3 face-up cards on the field. That's not optional, it's mandatory. So I usually use it just for the 2 effect, being able to add monsters of your choice back to your hand, I think is really good. And then Super Rejuvenation, this does a lot of tributing, so during the end phase, you can draw a card for each dragon-type monster discarded or tributed during that turn. So just extra draw power. Works really well with the tribute gimmick. And then finally, moving on to the trap cards, 2 Banishment and 2 Reflection. So, Banishment, tribute a Hieratic to target a card they control and banish it. Pretty simple. Then this is a counter trap, where when a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated, tribute a Hieratic to negate and destroy. So, again, simple. It plays into the tribute gimmick. Simple enough. Now we're going to move on to the extra deck. So first is the Hieratic side. We've got triple copies of Spheres. This way we have a play if we're forced to go first. And also just interruption if we're, for some reason, unable to OTK. I think pretty much everyone knows what Seals does at this point. Next, 2 Atum. So this allows us to special summon a dragon monster from our deck. Basically, the only downside is that he cannot attack when he uses that effect, but usually if you're doing that, usually if you try to go into Atum, you're not going to be attacking with him anyway, so I don't really see it as a drawback. I don't really summon this one all too often anyway, so... Next, for the rank 8s, I'm running 2 copies of Hieratic Sky Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis, and 2 copies of Hieratic Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis. So these guys are your Hieratic rank 8s. This one is once per turn targeting protection. He negates and destroys an effect that targets a card in your possession, whether it's in your graveyard, banish zone, field, pretty much anywhere except your hand. And then Sun Dragon Overlord, you contribute that many monsters from your hand or field, including himself, and then destroy an equal number of cards on the field. That does not target. So that can be useful. I actually didn't summon this one last night. It just never really came up. Usually when I had the option, I went for Sky Dragon Overlord because I was either going first or I knew they had something on the field that targeted. And then also, I usually didn't have enough monsters in hand to really warrant summoning this. Just kind of how those matchups played last night. It's fine. And yeah, so that's the end of the deck profile. Just kidding! So here's where the upgrades come in. Of course, I changed a few cards in the main deck, but really the extra deck is where the changes really came in, because I was just running a 100% pure 3 copies of every Hieratic extra deck, and it's still a mostly pure. I mean, 60% of the extra deck is still Hieratics, but I did decide to take it in a slightly more creative direction, where this is what I think the deck should have been if Hieratics were in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal anime. And now that I really think about it, they should have been. They should have made Mizar use Hieratics because it does rank 8s, and number 107 is a rank 8. So I think that's a really big missed opportunity. But so yeah, here's the kind of more generic side of the extra deck. So first, we're running 100 Numeron Dragon. So this is, of course, your OTK machine. I used this to end Game 1 against Virtual World Punk. Let's see, what is it he ended on? He ended on a Shen Shen, the big level 12 Math Mech monster, I think it's Final Sigma, and a defense position Beatrice. So I went into this with a card that we'll get into later, And since Beatrice is a rank 6, we went all the way up to 15,000 attack and then just punched the math mech for game. So that was really funny. I think I traumatized him. Next is a card I actually didn't know existed until I started exploring some more options for the deck, because I was like, man, this deck is so fun, it's so unique, but it's weak. So I was like, I need some generic power-ups. And then I discovered this guy. So this is Thunder End Dragon. So he requires 2 level 8 normal monsters, and then once per turn you can detach a material from him to destroy all other cards on the field. So he's a board wipe. Not bad for Hieratics, right? Next, this one serves kind of 2 purposes, but mainly just 1 purpose. That's number 46, Dragluon. So this takes 2 level 8 dragons, which for this deck is not a problem. And you can summon it and use its effects, but it's a little more situational, because in order to do that, he has to be the only monster on your side of the field. But if you're going against someone that you know is using dragons, then it's actually a pretty decent card, because you can detach material to choose and activate one of its effects, which is special summon a dragon-type monster from your hand, which is pretty good. Target a dragon-type monster your opponent controls and take control of it permanently, which is really good. Or you can make it to where a dragon-type monster your opponent controls can't activate their effects until the end of your opponent's turn. So, pretty good, but again, a little more situational. But when you can use it, it does feel pretty nice. Next is a card I alluded to earlier, being number 97, Draglubion. So this is what we use to bring out the number 100 for the OTK machine. It's also really nice that he can't be targeted, so he's protected from things like Imperm and Valor, so that's really nice. So again, you're mainly going to be going for number 100 in most situations, although there is another that I used, and it's actually the one I used to end Game 2 of the Virtual World Punk match, and is actually the most recent addition to the deck, providing me with the double OTK, being number 92, Hard Earth Dragon. And then I'm also running the Chaos version, but the Chaos version, the number C92, I'm only going to use it as material for this one, because I think this one's effect is much better than this one. So this one's only going to be as the Xyz material for this one. So this one, it has 0 attack, and it can't be destroyed by battle, but also your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving this card. So he chose to go first again, and he brought out Psychic and Punisher. So I summoned this guy and went into battle phase. He activated Psychic and Punisher's effect to pump him up to, what was it? I think it was like 5,900, I believe. Because, yeah, he paid 2,400 life points with 4 punk effects. So, yeah, 35 plus 24 is 59. And so then I just swung into this, and he took 5,900 damage, which, if you're a very quick mathematician, 8,000 minus 24 is 56. So I double OTK'd him with, first with Numeron Dragon, and then second with Hard Earth Dragon. So that was definitely the highlight of the night. Again, I think I traumatized the poor guy, because he has to live with the fact that he got 2-0'd by Hieratics in 2023. So, yeah, all in all, it was pretty fun. I do wish that I had done better in some of the later rounds, but unfortunately, it just wasn't as good, I'm afraid. Whether it be the hands, or the die roll, or something that I wish I had done differently. But all in all, 5th place with Hieratics is not bad at all. You know, Hieratics in 2023, 5th place, I'll take it. So, like, subscribe, and whenever I get the next locals poll out, be sure to vote on that, and I will see you guys next time.